I was talking to my cousin the other day about all the adventures we had as kids. You see, he didn't have cable or internet, no devices to scroll through or Facebook to get lost in. Just the outdoors. We climbed trees, played hide and seek, and built forts to occupy our time. Today, we are much older, we have full-time jobs, we got married, and we started our own families. I told my cousin that I am worried my son won't experience the outdoors the way we did as kids. Well, I've decided that I won't let technology confine my son and restrain his adventures. So this weekend, I'm going to take him on his first backpacking trip. I'm going to take him into the backcountry. So my son doesn't know it yet, but this weekend we are going on a backpacking trip. Well, today I ordered an Osprey kid, carrying backpack. He's pretty excited to go get it. I told him we were going to get it for him. I don't think he completely understands that he's going to be riding in it, but it should be pretty fun seeing his reaction when we get this book back. So let's go see what's going on. So Gray, hey, do you know what we're doing today?
Huh?
What are we about to go get?
We go shopping. We go shop.
Yeah, we're gonna go shopping.
We're gonna go shopping, that's right. But we're gonna get your backpack today. Are you excited? Great. Give me a countdown so we can go.
Where do we go?
So we picked up the Osprey Poco AG Plus. I'm thinking that this will be big enough for some of my gear and Grayson. I don't know how I'm going to fit a tent in it or on it, or it's probably going to get strapped to the underside somehow. But as of right now, I can tell you that I can get my sleeping bag inside this thing. I can get a sleeping pad inside this thing. The problem is I need to get two sort of warmth, my sleeping bag and probably something for Grayson, like whether it's some sort of down blanket or something. He can't fit in my sleeping bag with me. I've got to get our one night's supply of food for this trip in here. I just don't know if there's going to be enough room, and he still is in diapers, and I've got to get probably 3 or 4 of those in here too, just to make this work. It's going to be a tight squeeze, but we'll see if we can do it. For our trip, I chose the Red River Gorge. I had been there before, and I knew a couple of sites that would be fun to hang out at for the night. It takes about 5 hours to get there from northwest Ohio, so we needed to get an early start. Every 3 weeks, my wife has to work 2 12-hour shifts on Saturday and Sunday. When Gray was younger, I would use this time to study, read, and research for my master's classes. Now I am getting close to the end of my research, but Gray is much more active. I felt like I was being selfish and robbing him of his adventurous toddler years. Hopefully weekends like this happen more often. I always felt like the first steps on the trail are a symbolic disconnection with the stresses of today's world. Today, our steps not only take us away from the 21st century, but bring us closer together. To him, this weekend might only be a night building fire and pretending to be firefighters. To me, it is much more. We found a flat campsite that sat between two boulder-framed sections of the river. Across was a rock face that towered over the gentle stream. A rocky peninsula stretched into the water and became our hangout for the afternoon. Gray and I went down to the rocky bar and I showed him how to filter water. He showed me how to dump it out. After that, we hung out and threw rocks for nearly an hour. He pretended my filter was a fishing pole and a fire hose. I did my best to savor this moment. Each rock cast into the river itself is meaningless, but perhaps enough rocks cast together might lead to a path across troubled waters during his teenage years. I wanted this trip to be a foundation of our relationship as father and son. After a while, we did some exploring while gathering firewood. I quickly found out that my son is a very hard worker. He carried big sticks from all over and piled them up. On our explorations, we found a cave. Again, Gray put his arm to work. I love the evenings when camping. Although the food is not 5-star quality, it is always a nice reward for the day's work. We cooked our food by the river and then went up and built a fire while it cooled to a safe temperature so Gray could eat it.
We need smaller ones. We need smaller ones. We need some like this, okay?
I got that sidewalk.
I think this time each night is my favorite because the fire lulls each camper into a trance as the flames flicker and flash across the campsite. Gray played with his headlamp and made me play with mine as we ate.
Take a bite. Oh my gosh, he is not bear aware.
He dripped and dumped food all over his lap while complimenting my backcountry boyardee. As the sun dipped low, so too did Gray's eyes. The big day was gaining ground on him fast. I had one more surprise tonight. See, I took photos of a book appropriate for the backcountry and read it to him by the fire. It was called Mountain Night, Mountain Day.
All right. Mountain night,
dancing light, critters waking, full moon bright, sun moon high, a mountain sky, busy creatures crawl, run, fly. The end. Did you like that? So things went really well today, aside from the time that I nearly put a dent in Grayson's forehead. That was awful. I mean, that was one of like the worst feelings as a parent when you know that you're the reason that your kid is hurt. I mean, like, there's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. And he just must have wiggled just right, tipped straight forward. And it was just a rock, probably about the size of a softball. But I know right away his head hit right square on that rock. And so, I mean, he's got a nasty little bump on his face. And, you know, it's pretty red. And it's got, like, a little bit of blood. But it's not like bleeding. Now, aside from that awful, experience, we did go do a bunch of cool stuff. I mean, we didn't do anything, but it was all perfectly cool. I mean, Grayson threw rocks in the water for what felt like 2 hours total today. We went up and looked at the cave, and he just threw rocks in the cave. I mean, this kid just could throw rocks all day, so that was awesome. But he was beat. He ate a bunch of his food, which he usually never even eats at home. I mean, we sat by the fire, and as I'm reading him that story, he just his eyes started getting heavy. But it was a great experience. I mean, I wish I could do this more. I want to do this more. He's having so much fun. Just happy today. Both me and him, I think. It's a perfect day. The next morning we woke up and I prepped our breakfast while Gray took on fire duties, without my permission. Do you like it?
Uh-huh.
I'm glad you think it's yummy. I picked it out especially for you.
Daddy.
Once we ate, I took to packing up our gear. This is always one of the more fun parts of the trip. The entire hike out, Gray tugged at my ear, urging me to go down by the river. I don't think he wanted to leave, and as tired as I was not sure I wanted to either. We took in one last look at the gorge and headed back to reality. Hey, what's up ahead?
Who's a hat?
What's that?
I got it.
We-
I got it.
Take your booth out and tell us we did it.
I got it.
Good job, dude. You did great. There's only one thing left to do. Each trip, I make it a point to purchase a sticker to place on my water bottle. The plastic adhesive encapsulates memories from each expedition. I wanted to pass on the same tradition to Gray. Now remember when we went backpacking?
Huh?
Remember, this was your water bottle, wasn't it?
Huh?
You used that water bottle, didn't you? And then see, I got one too, right? So what's on my water bottle?
Huh?
What do I have on my water bottle?
Huh? Who's me?
See, these stickers? Do you like my stickers?
Uh-huh.
Well, you know that you get one too, right?
Huh?
Because you went on a trip. I got us some special stickers. So this sticker is for your water bottle. So can I have it? All right, now the deal is every time you go on a trip, you see this sticker and you remember our trip together. Do you remember what was your favorite thing when we went down by the river? Do you remember that?
Huh?
Okay. Now I also got one because I think that trip was a lot of fun and it was worth remembering. So we got to find a spot for mine. Oh, I think right there is perfect. Don't you?
Uh-huh.
All right.
My sticker. I got my sticker.
Isn't that neat? Look, I got one just like it. Show your water bottle. Show your sticker.
I did.
Show it. You gotta turn it. Show it. Wasn't that cool? All right, maybe until our next trip. Cheers. From now on, we have matching stickers on our water bottles to spark campfire conversations and future backpacking trips. It may not take up the most area on my water bottle, but it is my greatest memory as a father.